There is such a range of people who come. There are people who have been coming for years, and they come back because it's the 1 week a year that really they have that relationship with these other people. They have that relationship. They know it's a week they can pray and they can sing, and the music is actually going to uplift them and sustain them for the year, as is the camaraderie. Other people, I get calls all the time, especially in the months, well, actually all year, but in the months before the colloquium. Well, I'm a new Catholic, and one of the things I really love is the music I think I've heard in some Catholic parishes, but I'm not hearing it at the one I'm in now, but I really like the priests and I like the people, but how can I make a difference?
You know that hardly a day goes by when I don't receive an email from somebody, mostly always a young person, a person in high school, early college years. They say, look, I'm getting interested in this chant idea, and I have several of my friends want to do it also. We want to get together and sing it. We'd like to know how. What do we do? We want to sing for our school chapel. We want to sing for our school masses. And these scholars are forming all over the country. And this is new. I would date it from about the last 5 years. We run a national registry of Gregorian chant. The new scholars are appearing every day.
I think it's a wonderful conference. We've had people from literally all around the world. We had people from Australia attending. I think in the past we had people from Singapore. So it's not just across the United States. We always had the occasional Canadian meandering south here, but it's really attracted a lot of people, and a lot of people that come anew, that come here for the first time, and are just amazed about the beauty of the liturgy and the music.
The colloquium is simply to bring into what we're doing a greater number of people, to encourage them to take back to their parishes the notion that the liturgy has to be beautiful and it has to be sacred. If we can accomplish that, then we're really satisfied that that's what we're up to.
When we first got here, we immediately jumped into learning chant. It wasn't as if we waited. It was immediately that we started learning. The teachers exposed us to some great music, some very difficult pieces. But we got a broad spectrum of everything, from Haydn, from motets, to Gregorian chant. So we got a little bit of everything when it came to the traditional music. And I thought that was very impressive that they exposed us to a little bit of everything.
That's what I like too. It's not a conference that's based upon just talking about. It's about doing. Everyone sings.
Right.
So my voice is not. We all sing. I give you a voice that everyone's singing together, and there's a sense. Even the watershed staff with the cameras joining in as well, and there's a sense that we're all called to be part of this liturgy. So there's a.
And it's interesting when people come in and they see all this happening, all these people, 250 people, whatever it is, and this great organization and beautiful music packets, and everything's just moving along so well. And we have a wonderful director of programs who oversees everything. And they assume that this organization called the CMA must have a lot of money, must have a huge staff, must have big offices, and none of which is true. None of it is true.
It's a bunch of hardworking volunteers who love what they do.
That's what it is. And what a difference that makes.
It does make all the difference.
Yeah, it does.
It's when you love what you do.
colloquium is something very special, and the people who come here often say that the colloquium is a life-changing experience.
Our very first Mass was totally overwhelming to me. My life was changed in that first worship experience, and it has just been better every day since then.
Lots of things have changed in 2 years. The movement has grown. The movement for chant has grown. All sorts of new resources are available to people. There's a new generation out there. People are singing more and more. There are now, I think, every year 24 workshops in Gregorian chant around the country. 5 years ago, I think maybe there's 1 or 2, typically per year. So things are changing dramatically. The momentum is really very striking.
I was sitting outside Loyola Chapel, which is right along the lake, literally, and I was sitting on the wall there, and the church doors were open, and the music was just flowing out, and there was this lovely piece by Brahms. It was a German piece, and I just heard it, and just was watching the lake and the water rippling, and I just started crying. There was nobody else there. It was so lovely. I think there were several other times too. During the Holy Hour on Thursday, they sang this Tantum Ergo by Kevin Allen, which just took my breath away. I was crying that time too. But those 2 times the most.
I've been using chant and chant-like material, and I needed to learn it from experts in person and in the context of a liturgy. It's very dry, very useless to just learn it in the classroom situation or by yourself or from an academic approach. It would be like trying to find joy in going to a jewelry store and looking at the wedding rings. I want to go to the wedding.
When the Second Vatican Council's document on the liturgy, Sacrosanctum Concilium, says that the treasury of sacred music is of greater value than any other art. That is a very heavy statement to make.
At the colloquium, we're able, because we have 250 people together, almost all of the musicians of varying strengths and weaknesses, we're able to mount, if you will, a mass in the context of a workshop or retreat. People will use both of these words when they describe the colloquium. And we will have a beautiful mass on a day at which participants of the colloquium will, in turn, sing the introit of the Mass, or perhaps the polyphonic ordinary of the Mass, or perhaps they won't be singing anything that day. Although, as you know, living through this week, it's rare that someone at the colloquium is not singing something at Mass. That's quite rare, in fact. And as a participant in that Mass, they are able to sing the music proper to the Mass, either the proper chant or the ordinary of the Mass, and at the same time observe the liturgy. Because with all of these people involved in the colloquium, there's plenty of time to see what's going on, to let it sink in, to hear other choirs singing. And so the learning experience, I think, is the most important part of the colloquium at these beautiful Masses which we have every day, presented in a paradigmatic way, we hope, but because of the nature of a colloquium, when you put 250 people together for 6 days, maybe the music is perfect, maybe it isn't, but that's all right. We're all working toward the same goal, which is the beauty of music and the beauty of liturgy, in service to the Mass.
The instructors for CMAA have been wonderful in bringing those of us who are beginning in this chant arena to learn and to appreciate and to be able to really pray and proclaim Gregorian chant.
How do you address people to say, well, look, Dr. Mahrt, I grant you the idea, I grant this is the music of the Church, this is the music of Vatican II, but we just don't have any singers who can do this. It's just beyond our reach.
They have to learn. You have to teach them. You have to start small, but you see, it's that thing of having caution and persistence. Yeah. You have to continue to teach them, and they'll learn. These are people who can handle a fancy program on a computer.
Yeah.
They're not incapable of learning.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And our whole society is geared to having us do extremely difficult things. We worried a little bit about when we got to 250 people that we'd have to divide you into 5 different choirs, and you would have only the opportunity of singing 1/5 of the time at the Mass. But I think there's an advantage to that, because now you can experience the music as those in your pews experience it. You can evaluate the effect and the use of various kinds of music in the liturgy as a worshiper, as well as a choir member. And I think that is a thing that you will value taking home. I find myself in the embarrassing position of not really knowing very much about what other people do in church, because I'm always busy on Sunday morning. And so it's an opportunity to have a chance to experience and reflect upon and ask the questions, how does this work? Why does it work? Why should it be used?